Alright, so I am going to go through this project and I've already populated the customer's name and information. Well, I thought I had the customer's name populated. Let's see, this is Rebecca Bissel and she has two projects, so we're going to make sure we get the correct address here. And that's already populated in. So for these first few questions, I'm going to go to the project and I am looking in the documents on the project and I'm going to look at the measure form. And so the floor is out of level by 9/16 of an inch. All right, so that answers my first question. Is the floor level? No, it's out 9/16 of an inch. And because 9/16 is more than half an inch, I'm going to check the box. All right, is the kitchen on the main entry level floor is next? Yes. Will he require demo services? Yes. So a lot of stuff now with the way we're doing this, the measure tech form is going to give you the answer to a lot of these questions when you're doing the estimate. So the kitchen is on the main. Will they need demo? So we plumbing, electrical. Where's the demo question? Yes, and we're going to just put yes in all these for now. What's below the kitchen? I do not know. Let's see if that's on my form. This is an older form. It does not appear to be on there. Oh, so that's something I need to fix. But below the kitchen, I'm just going to pick basement for now and say it's open. That's just for fun. The customer need demo. Yes. So we already saw that. Yes, they do need demo. On the cabinet removal, if we go back to our form, there is a total of 24 linear feet of cabinets to remove. What it does, it adds at the base of the wall and then the pantry times 2 to give us 24 linear feet of cabinets. So back on our kitchen estimator, we're simply going to set it to 24. All right. Let's go back to our job, our form. How many feet of countertops are we removing? 13 and 0 backsplash. So let's see if we can fill those out. There's laminate. Probably we'll see that from the pictures. We're taking out 13 and no backsplash, no drywall patch. So let's go back to Rebecca Bissel. No soffit. No light above the sink. Ceiling height is 106.5. Yes, they need plumbing. Yes, they need electrical. Yes. So we put a yes for all those. But I'm not so sure with this customer because I bid another job where they said they were going to do everything. So we'll look at our notes and maybe even ask our detailer, who is Randall. Okay, there is an accessible crawl space. So I got that wrong because it's in a different order. It should be in the same order, but it's not. We're going to change this to accessible crawl space. Okay. So now I'm going to stay with this document and go through it. So here it says they're not extending counters, but they are because I can see it in the plans. Actually, this one here I'm using an example in the sheet. You can see from the drawing, this is the drawing. This door is being closed in by the notes. This one's got some surprises. There's a water heater inside the cabinets. The fridge is going to move. The range is going to move. Lots of things are going to change. So the fridge is going to come this way. The range is going to move over a little bit in here along with that range hood. Every time you move a range, you're generally going to move a range hood or an OTR microwave. And so we can see that where this cabinet is from here all the way down, we're adding new counter space. And then when that refrigerator moves down, we're going to add a little bit of counter space over there. And you can see that in this drawing. You can see that we're adding, if you look at the numbers here we're adding about 48 inches of counters. Over here we're adding 24 and 12, about 3 foot of counters. So that's 7 feet of counter. And then over here we're adding 15. So that's a little over 8 feet of counters. So around 8 feet of counters that we're going to add. Now the counter outlet code, so you can see there's an outlet here and there's an outlet here. The counter outlet code says for every 6 foot of wall space, you must have, if there's counters, remember this door will be gone, but the range will be here. So anything on the left side of the range, there is an outlet within 6 feet. We can see that when we look at our measurements on the drawings. When we get over here, when the range is moved over on the left side, you'll see there's not going to be an outlet all the way down here and down here. So when we look at that, that's the range is here. You've got 4 foot of wall here, and then you've got 24 inches, almost 3 feet. So you've got 7 feet almost from the edge of the range to here of wall space. And that's per linear foot down the wall. So that's going to have another outlet added per the code. And then also here, we're going to have to add an outlet. And you can see that we'll see that on the cabinet estimator as we go through our setup. So we got our 12 feet of laminate countertops. We're not removing backsplash or doing drywall. Appliance Holloway Q31, that populates automatically whenever we do the other part. Always include the pre-inspection fee. It's rare that we don't do that. So for cabinet installation, we need to find our design for this job. And we should have that design here. Let's see. Did he give me? Let's see if we can find or pull up our design for this job. I should have had this ready, but it did not. But we're going to get it pulled up here so that we can go through here. Hopefully he gave us hopefully he has given us all the documents that we need for this quote. Let's just see. 4 attachments, ridge wall PDF. So he has not given me an installer report, so I'm going to ask for that installer report. So without an installer report, it is a little bit tougher to do. And what he's given me is just some drawings and some elevations. So if you don't have an installer report, the easiest way, if you have the 2020, to figure out how many cabinets, all the cabinet dimensions are on here. In inches, you just add them all up, and that'll tell you how many feet. However, what it doesn't tell you is how many feet of crown molding. You have to figure all of that up. You can see the green, he's got crown molding up here. But I'm going to ask him for an installer report just to make this better. So I'm going to send him an email back right now asking, what's this main PDF? What is that? Could he have it there? Let's just see. Nope, he does not. He's got no modified full overlay. He's got some nice notes on here. We can see it's just the same thing as here. All plywood construction, no doors, no drawer pulls. No modified full overlay. Pillars, but built into each run, cabinets need to be mounted higher than typical to accommodate a 3-inch starter touch the ceiling. So I did let him know already that the customer will have to sign off if we mount those cabinets higher than normal. Alright, I'm going to ask him for a installer report because he did not send me one. Hopefully he'll send me one back pretty quickly and we can check our measurements, but we're going to go through it anyway and pretend like we don't have one, and we're going to try to just do the math. I'm emailing him right now, see if he sends it back to me. Alright, so we're going to go through here and do the math. I'm going to pull up my calculator real quick. And we're just going to start adding all the cabinets up. We can see right here that this is a 6-inch cabinet. Then we've got two 36s. So we've got a 6 plus a 36 plus a 36. We turn the corner. Now this goes 36 to the corner, but it's 36 this way too. We don't count that part twice, so we'll just add 12 more inches for that. And then the next one beside it is a 24 for our next lower. And then we look here, we've got up top, we've got wall cabinets. We've got a 36 and a 24, so we're going to add both of those in. Then above the range we have a 30. Man, I keep doing that. Alright, and then next to the range we have a 12. I'm still in the wall cabinets. A 12 and a 24. Then, so that's all the 12, the 12, and the 24-inch corner cabinet. Then we've got a 12 and another 36 corner down low. So we're going to add the 12 and the 36. Alright, then both that 24 and that 36 will have an additional 12 inches. So we're going to go ahead and add the 12 plus the 12. Okay. Alright, and then next we have here a 27-inch upper wall cabinet. Down below we have a 24. This one right here is we see 36 by 30, so that's a 36-inch wall cabinet. We're going to add 36 inches above the refrigerator. Down below we have both a 15-inch base and a 15-inch wall cabinet. So we're going to, you know what, is that a pantry cabinet? Let's look at the elevation. Well, there's the range wall. Let's see if we've got the fridge wall around here anywhere in the drawings that he gave us. Main sink, main fridge. Okay, we got a main fridge wall. You can also get these from the... Okay, so that's a pantry. So we still, even though it's 15 inches, we still add it twice, like there was an upper and a lower. All right, but being that that's a pantry, that does change some things. We do not have to add an outlet over here if there's no counter space. So that makes it one less outlet that we're going to have to add. All right, so we'll add our 15 twice. So we got 453 total inches of cabinets. Divide that by 12. There's 37.75 feet of cabinet. So our kitchen labor estimator, 37.75, that's going to be 38 feet. Alright. We are going to have to remove trim and tie back in. Cabinet design. And I am going to check the blocking by Lazy Susan and other voices support. Countertops, especially, is how there are 2 Lazy Susans. There's no island or peninsula. So we've got crown molding here. So now what we got to do is try to figure out what our crown molding is. So there's we can go back to our you can see the green line right here. It's crown molding. So this wall is 139 inches, but it stops 24 short. So he already told me that he was putting starter on here. When you have a corner cabinet like that, that's 17 inches automatically. I know that from doing this so much. An upper corner cabinet like that. Then we're going to come across 27 inches. Then it's going to turn and go out 12 inches. And then we've got 36 plus 15. And in both sides, the crown just dies out into the wall. So there's no returns on the ends. Hello, calculator. So we have 222 inches of crown. If you divide that by 12, we get 18.5 feet. But because he already told me there's going to be crown and riser, we know that because he says there's no modified full overlay, so that means there's nowhere to staple the crown to. Be taken up in the fillers I built in each run. Cabinets need to be mounted higher than typical to accommodate the 3-inch crown starter, touching the ceiling. So starter plus crown. So we have to multiply that 18.5 feet times 2, because each layer of crown is considered a layer that you get paid on. So it's starter and crown, it's 18.5 feet each, and it's 37 feet. So go back to our estimator. Install top molding, 37 feet. And then we can repeat the same process for figuring out our floor molding. It's pretty simple. There's 16, there's 36 plus 12. Remember, there's only 12 inches right here in the front. So, same thing. You can simply add it up. There's 6 plus 36 plus 12. Turn the corner and there's 12 and 24. Then there's 12 and 12 and 12 and 24. And then over on the other side of the kitchen is 15. 165 divided by 12. So there's 14 feet of other molding, which other molding is going to be things like outside corner molding, quarter round down to the flooring, which many of the stores forget to sell, but I always try to remind them when I see it. Install cabinet panels. That would be very helpful to have in a it would be very helpful to have, but if you notice, there are no panels here. Panels, they can be on the back of an island. They can go alongside the sink, dishwasher end panels. But here he has a pantry, and on this side there is no panel, so there are 0 panels on this installation. So we're not going to put any panels. If there's a sink, then we're going to alter the sink base. We're going to choose that. These other ones, specialty cabinet hardware, these are things like roll trays. You'll find those in the installer report. Sometimes they have special drawer inserts for silverware and things like that they want us to use. But that's how, if you don't have an installer report. But I prefer that we look through the documents and we ask for an installer report, because the installer report spells those numbers out for you. It also gives you good information. All right, so we got plumbing and appliances. Yes, we're going to disconnect the sink at the time of tear out. All right, there is a hot water heater in there, which is $12. Is kind of a joke to take it out, but hey, we're going to. No permanent sink, but we are going to install a permanent sink. No temp sink here. I don't know if they're adding a farmhouse sink. Let's take a look at what we got again in our documents. He has the main sink wall. So we go down here. Yep. Do you see that cut out? That is a farmhouse sink. So farmhouse sinks, and see how it says country sink base right here, 36. That's a farmhouse sink. So with a farmhouse sink, they are a lot of additional labor. So we are going to check the box for farmhouse sink. We're also going to cut and cap the plumbing. In some of it says replace the valves, but I've changed that to cut and cap plumbing because they changed the scope of work with the sink to include the valves. And so we're cutting and cap plumbing for removal of existing installation new sink base. Are we moving the sink to a new location? No, it's staying the same place. Now, when we get to these appliances, is there a range or cooktop? Yes, we are going to disconnect the range. We're going to haul away the range or move it to another area of the home during demo and installation. And we are going to install it. Will the range be moved? Yes, the range will be moved on the same wall. It is just a standard electric range. We're going to disconnect the fridge. We're either going to haul it away, move it to another area. We're going to hook it up. It is going to be supplied from a valve in the wall of the basement. Yes, the refrigerator will move. Move the refrigerator to a new location on the same wall. The electric, we're going to move it here too. Moving the water and the electric. Dishwasher, was there a dishwasher there before? Yes, there was. Let's take a quick look. I believe it was going to be in the same place though. So I'm going to look at my pictures real quick here. Let's see. We see the hidden water heater. That's the surprise here at this house. You see the range plug. It's got to be moved. It can't stay there. That's just hokey, and that will not meet code. This water heater is in the cabinet. They're going to move that, I believe. I got to check with the notes. I do see there is a dishwasher next to the sink. So we go back to our job, and we see the dishwasher is still next to the sink. So We're not moving that dishwasher, but we are going to disconnect it. We're going to haul it away. We're going to install it. Now, let's look at our pictures again, because is the dishwasher plugged into an outlet under the sink or an adjacent cabinet? We always have no as the default position because most of the time it's not. But let's just check our pictures real quick and see if we can gain any insights to under the sink. Look at that. The garbage disposal, is that the garbage disposal plugged in, or is that the dishwasher? It looks to me like I can hardly tell. Let's see if the kitchen estimator form says that looks like a dishwasher outlet plug, but let's see what does the estimator form even say that. I'm always updating these forms trying to make them better. I'm not sure if this version on this job says it or not. Plumbing is through the floor. Farmhouse sink. Does the customer have garbage disposal? Yes. Do they want to add one to the new sink? Yes. Temporary sink? No. Dishwasher hookup. Okay, so is next to sink? Is it plugged into an outlet? No and no. So there we can answer all the questions about our dishwasher right here. He's already filled them out for us. So again, if we look at these documents, they're very helpful for us in doing our estimate. So we can leave that as no. It charges $120 for a GFCI outlet. It is next to the sink, but we do need the water hammer arrestor. And no, it will not move to new location. So they have got a range hood currently. Let's look at what are they calling for here. They're calling for, it looks like, an over-the-range microwave. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with, there is no one to disconnect, but we are going to install one over-the-range microwave, and we are converting from a range hood to an OTR. We're also moving that to a new location, so I don't see that here. But it was with the range, and I believe it includes the range electric, I believe. Okay, range hood, so we are going to disconnect, and we are going to haul away. Alright, so garbage disposal installation, it'll be included with the sink because they already had one before. General custom work, we're going to take a look and read the notes. Alright, we know that I put they were adding 8 feet of cabinets, however, they're not. We're only going to have to add one because that other one down there is not a countertop, it's a pantry. Are the counter at the same wall? Does the customer have an existing island or peninsula? No. Is adding a new island or peninsula? No. I saw at least 3 outlets that need to be swapped out. No new light fixtures. Let's go back and let's check our form here. Customer has their own plumber and they are moving the water heater, kitchen, and running a line for the fridge, but customer has their own plumber. Okay, so we might have to disconnect range. Go to our built-in microwave installation, converting from range hood to microwave, yes. Any other customer plumbing work? No. No light fixtures. Customer has their own electrician. Power for the oven, OTR, and fridge will need to be moved, but customer has. Okay, that's a good note because we can take all that. Wants me to include appliance installs, but she might have her guys do them when they just do the cabinets. She might have her guys do them. Okay, so that's a lot. Reading those notes actually helps us a lot. So that's why looking at pictures and looking at all these notes is important. Because now we can go back and we can say, we can make this a 0. We can say, we can make this a 0. We can make that just say no. We can close off all these electrical questions because in the notes we read that they have their own electrician, their own plumber. So that means that no electrical, but they do want us to include the appliance installation. So that means a few things. If they have their own electrician, what we'll do is we will hook up the dishwasher, but we will change this to yes because we will not be adding that outlet. What we'll do, if they don't add the outlet, we'll just leave a cord on it and plug it in, and that's all we'll do with him. And let's see what else we've got here. We can say, no, the refrigerator is not moving to no location because their plumber electrician will take care of all that. So we don't need to worry about all this stuff that's moving. Range, we're going to change this to no. Dishwasher, no. Okay, so we're not going to move anything to a new location. We can even take this conversion off. On the microwave, we can take that off because their electrician will do that work. That significantly will reduce the price, but it looks like it's just going to be and I don't even know if they even need the sink installation. We're going to leave it in there just to see what happens. So now I think we've got that. We don't have to pull any permits. They'll do that. All right, so in the job comments, I'm going to put and I'm going to leave the sink in there. He can take it out if he feels like he needs to. At the store, he will. And he said, I'm going to look at his email again to see what he told me. He said, cabinets need to be raised, mounted higher, 15-inch tall wall cabinet, bench, describe in case of setting waivers. Additional charge to mount new valves on the sink, the mounting of the farmhouse sink, and the vented toe kick in the corner. Okay, I did not realize we had a toe kick vent. So I'm going to, under general custom work, I'm going to put add toe kick vent. Surprised I don't have that up there somewhere. And he wants the farmhouse sink included. And they want new valves under the sink, so we're going to go ahead and put new valves. I'm going to go back and check the cut and cap plumbing. Yep, I already have one there, okay. And I'm going to put this on 0 because their plumber should take care of that water heater. They're going to relocate it. All right, let's see what we get for a price. We'll go back up here. $51.31.75. That looks about right for not having to do all that additional plumbing and electric moving things around. That looks about right. So I'm going to just briefly scan through this. He still has not responded with that installer report, but I'm just going to have to trust my math. And I am going to download a PDF of it, and I'm going to do two things. That's my PDF. I'm going to go back here into the job. We go to Documents. And I'm going to upload it. It's going to pop up in my downloads, Rebecca Bissel, too. Because we have another Rebecca Bissel. That was her personal house. This is a house for her son. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to respond back to the store, and I'm going to send them a copy of it also. That way they have it. And that's pretty much it.